Hello and welcome to Expats Everywhere. If you could tell us your name, where you're from, and a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Luis. I'm 21 years old. I come from Spain, from Madrid. I'm in the hospitality industry at the moment, and I just moved into Prague 6 months ago, and definitely enjoying the Central European way of life.
Sweet. Well, what countries have you worked in outside of Spain?
Well, Czech Republic was the first international experience. I've also had a chance to have a working experience in UK, and that would be all the international experience that I've had before, yeah.
Okay. Well, what's it like working in Czech Republic?
Well, I would say, first of all, for Europeans, the rest, Central European people, they're kind of cold at the beginning and close to receive people. But once you get to know them and once they get to open their circles to you, like, it's really, really nice, and they can be one of the most friendly people. It gets time to get in touch with them and to have a good connection. But as I mentioned, once you get in touch with them and open their circles, it's the best people you can find here.
Well, should we call it Czech Republic or Czechia?
The moment is Czechia. It just changed a few months ago, and that's the new denomination that you have to use, Czechia.
All right, cool. Well, what kinds of jobs are available?
Actually, it has lots of opportunities, a lot of international companies, technology ones, they're moving into the Czech Republic. Of course, hospitality, as I mentioned, and but definitely the service industry would be the second in place, and the first one would be for technology.
And are these for English-speaking expats?
So I would say they're not only looking for really, really technical, specific positions, but they're open to accounting positions, receptionist positions. So there's a wide variety, I would say.
What does a typical day look like at work for you?
Well, usually in hospitality we have really, really defined schedules. So basically, depending on if it's a morning shift or a PM shift, it completely changes your life. And also your sleeping times, you know, it completely changes the way that you work. But definitely coming into the hotel and getting in touch with all different guests that we have in our hotel, and which is something really, really rewarding, and you get to know people from all over the world. Even though we're here in Central Europe, you get people from all over the world, and I would say the Czech Republic here, it's like one of the main destinations, so it's a very, very nice place to get to know people.
Do you have any friends that work outside of the hospitality industry?
I would say mainly all of the circle that I move in is hospitality people, not only from my company, but also for any international company, as at the end we get in touch with expats. But yeah, I would say some people who moved into different, originally they were from hospitality and now they've moved into a different industry. Then I would say that yes, I have some people outside from the hospitality industry.
Okay, what do they do?
Right now, most of them, they've moved into selling positions in international companies for IT, as I mentioned. That it's like the greatest potential and the most growing one right now. So basically, it's in sales and marketing that they moved.
Well, so if you can give us an indication of salary range, what should we expect to earn while working in Prague?
If you're looking to an entry position, let's say in my case, I just graduated. That would be rounding around 800 euros to 1,000 maximum. It would be in that range between, I would say, starting 600 and going up to 1,000. That would be for an entry level. And then if you're looking for, of course, moving to a managerial position, then consider going up to 2,000, up to 3,000 euros. That would be for a managerial one.
Okay, so looking at the 800 to 900 range, do you think that this is enough money, and what kind of lifestyle can you live? It's
plenty of money, and the thing that you then have to consider is whether you want to live in the city center or whether you want to live outside. That would be for the living, which would take, if you want to live in the city center, that would take half of your salary off just in accommodation. But then in terms of food and beverage, I would say that even with 200 euros a month, you can do a really, really nice living as you would do in any other main European city. And then if you want to live outside in the outskirts of Prague, then you can be paying around, let's say, 200 to 300 euros of accommodation, and then you can still save a lot of money out of your salary. So,
well, good. This leads us to the next question. How are savings? What are those like?
I would say it's a really nice place to save. As I mentioned, it's really cheap, not only in terms of living, in terms of accommodation, and then the food and beverage and your own place, but then if you want to go out, still nightlife and everything, you can still spend some of your money, because still the clubs and the place to go out, it's really, really cheap. and still you can save, let's say, between 100 to 300 euros a month. So let's say at the end of 1 year working here, still it's a nice saving to go out from here and having a really, really nice life. You don't have to be like all closed up at your place, you know?
Awesome. Well, you've gotten people really excited about moving to Prague. How should people pack? What's the weather like?
Well, I have to say welcome to Winterland. That's Prague from, I would say, late October until late March or even beginning of April. That would be rounding to 0 degrees if you're lucky enough. But then in the proper winter, we will be down to minus 20 degrees Celsius. And then in summer, we're coming to temperatures reaching the 30 degrees. So summer, it's the rewarding part after the long winter here.
Right. Well, yeah. Right now it's summer. We're outside having a beer.
You can see it's really typical, of course, national product, beer. They're really proud of it. Even if the price go up, they discuss it in the parliament. So yeah, if you come here and get used that the beer will be cheaper than the water.
Okay. Well, what are some things that you can't find in Spain, for example, that you recommend people should bring?
Wow, that's a good thing. Obviously, if you want to have like your own local products, it's really, really hard to find them here. I would say people is not really into the culture of healthy lifestyle and healthy eating. That's really, really important point. If you want to have a healthy eating lifestyle here in Prague, you should better redefine your diet or the way that you eat, because they're really used to this heavy food due to the winter weather that they have. In winter, all the food is based on soups or also on some meat plates, all based in pork. That's a really important thing. So people who don't eat pork take into account that then your alternative would be the chicken, I would say so. But many dishes are based in pork and soups. That would be for winter, and they don't really have that wide variety to change it in summer as we do in some Mediterranean cultures. So definitely think about it and try to redefine your diet if you want to keep it healthy. Yeah.
How safe is it in Prague, and do you feel safe on a personal level?
I would say Prague is one of the safest cities right now. Not only in terms of the city itself, but also in terms of Europe. We know that all the latest things that have been happening, unfortunately. But I would say Prague, it hasn't any international tension in terms of other countries. It's pretty safe. We're one of the main touristic cities, so that's also a point that they take into account. And security, it's one of their main premises for them. So you can freely walk around the city, even late at night. There are, of course, some areas that you should avoid. I would say like the area up on the main train station, close to it. That's, I would say, dangerous neighborhood at the end, but that would be from 1 in the morning onwards. And then people, they really wake up really early in the morning to get to work around 5. You can already say the city that it's getting active. In terms of safety and living, it's a safe place, it's a safe country. So definitely consider it as one of your main points to move if you want to move into Europe.
Can you tell us about healthcare? What's the healthcare system like here?
If I have to define it in one word, that would be obsolete. I'm really sorry. They're still getting out of communism, as you know. They're trying to refurbish the hospitals, but still the social security and even the service sector, they're not really into a service culture. So be prepared, be patient, and definitely recommend to have private insurance. That would be the main advice. Of course, if you come to work to a local company, you will get the national insurance, but definitely have a backup with your private one and try to get private hospitals.
Great advice. Can you tell us how do you meet people and what do you do for fun?
Well, definitely the main thing that you should do here is going out into pubs. Not even into clubs. Pubs would be the main option. Clubs would be like the second advice, and people, they go there up to 4 in the morning. So if you're somewhere around the Mediterranean Spanish culture that you're looking to coming up until late night at 6 in the morning or 7 as we do in Spain, forget about it. Like 4 would be the maximum. 4, that would be the late people staying there. I would say if you're looking for after hours, it's really rare. Like people, they do the before hours, they call it like this. They usually start drinking really early. They If you want to compete drinking with Czech people, be careful. They really tolerate alcohol really, really good. So that's a tough competition with them, with the alcohol one. They drink anything that you can put in front of them, not only beer. And definitely pub is the best way of meeting people. Like you have different places from Cuban rhythms music to the typical Czech pub with some local music. So definitely go out, grab your beer, and try to talk to anyone. They're really open in that terms when they have some drink in the hand.
That sounds brilliant. Do you think that Czech Republic is a good travel hub? Or let's say, do you think that Prague is a good travel hub for the country and for the rest of Europe or the world?
That's definitely one of the main strengths that Prague has. You know, at the moment we're located, as I mentioned, one of the main destinations in Central Europe, so it has great connections in terms of all the surrounding cities that you can find. You have Berlin for Germany, or even Munich. Then you have Slovakia with Bratislav. Also Poland would be a nice destination, and even flights with Italy are super cheap. So even a main destination as is Venice in Italy, that can be super expensive for some other people. Here you can even find some flights for 27 euros. So that's super cheap. So definitely, if you want to travel from Prague, get into Skyscanner or some of these companies, would like to fly anywhere and get the cheapest flight. That's how we do it here. So even you can do that, and definitely recommend a company that's called a student agency. It's getting tickets for planes, trains, and buses, and it's the best connection not only to local places in Czech Republic, but also to all the surrounding countries.
What was the cheapest flight that you got out of Prague?
Wow, that I would say, as I mentioned, the one to Venice. It was 27 euros both ways. So can you imagine what's that for some European people? Of course, the accommodation then in Venice, we cannot talk about it because it's one of the most expensive. But flying for 27 euros to Venice, wow. Awesome. And even not flying at 6 in the morning, I have to say. It was a flight at 11 in the morning, and the way back was at 6 in the afternoon. So how can you do it? Czech Republic.
Unbelievable.
That's it.
All right, wrapping up, can you tell us the pros and cons of living in Prague?
Well, of course, weather would be one of the main handicaps. It's really cold winters, and I would say getting really hot summers. So you have all the extremes. Then don't expect technology to be a must here in the country. They're still evolving. They're trying to get into the levels of the rest of the European countries. Right now, technology, it's one of the most expensive things you can buy here. If you want to buy a computer, definitely go to the next European country and buy it there. I would say you can find a difference of up to 200 euros in what you're buying. People at the very beginning, they're really close and I would say a bit cold, you know. But the pros, on the other hand, that you can find is that once you get to know the Czech people, they're one of the most friendly people that you can find. And then the living is cheap. It's an easy city. It's really compact, so you can walk to any place. And definitely you can have a really easy living and cheap living, which is very nice, and a very nice city to settle for, I would say, a couple of years. Why not?
Luis, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Thanks for sitting down with us and explaining life in Prague for us.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Expecting new expats. Thank you.